Consideration of global warming 6. ATCAS 6919. Introduction. Even when trying to approximate the annual average temperature announced by the Japan Meteorological Agency with a sine wave, see Figure 1, it does not work well. Recalling references 2 and 3, I considered that there might be a problem with how the average is calculated. People perceive temperature from space, but that space is not a sphere or a cube. Therefore, the method of calculating the average is Formula 1. Where x is the average value, xi is the observed value. Using this, a sine wave approximation is performed to predict long-term weather. Shows the attempt to approximate the annual average temperature data from the Japan Meteorological Agency with a sine wave. Blue dots, observed values, red line, sine wave approximation. RMSE and our superscript 2 indicate the accuracy of the fit. However, it seems suspicious. Significance: the conventional averaging method does not adequately represent the temperature fluctuation pattern. Method. Past data from the Japan Meteorological Agency and corrected averages are shown in Table 1, only a part is shown due to space limitations. Correction was applied only when calculating annual averages from monthly averages, as correcting monthly and daily averages would require enormous effort. Table 1. (2-1) method, continued. In addition, the monthly average temperature and the daily average temperature are omitted because it takes a lot of effort to correct the above-mentioned corrections, and they are corrected only when calculating the annual average temperature squared from the monthly average temperature. Using a scatter plot of Microsoft's Excel, the sixth-order polynomial approximates this data in Figures 2 and 3. Figure 2 is the conventional average figure, and Figure 3 is corrected. Figure 2. There is a reason why 16 decimal places are used here. If you don't use this number, there will be a big difference when you expand the range of x later. According to information on the internet, some recommend the maximum 30 decimal places of the cell value, making it difficult to understand the significant figures. Sixth-order polynomials are strange. Figure 3. What is noteworthy here is the coefficient of determination. It should be noted that in Figure 2, the decision coefficient or squared is almost equal to 0.86 was reduced to 0.80 in Figure 3. Next, we will use Microsoft Sim 365 Copilot to perform a sinusoidal binomial approximation. It is shown in Figures 4 and 5. Figure 4. What we should look at here is the coefficient of determination or squared. The annual average temperature announced by the Japan Meteorological Agency has dropped further, and R squared equals 0.635. Figure 5. The decision coefficient R squared equals 0.807, and this was decided. You may also wonder why we don't use a sixth-order polynomial, which has a better R squared value. Because if you expand x, you can clearly see it. Sixth-order polynomials undergo rapid changes as the value of x increases. This would not be a sustainable society. In addition, I am an architect and graduated from the Faculty of Engineering. Mathematics has been taught to be used as a tool. Theory is secondary, and the first thing is to benefit people. Figure 6. Extension of the sine wave approximation in Figure 5 to x equals 600. Blue, actual data, red, sine wave, 2-term, approximation, green, Fourier, 5-term, approximation. The sine wave approximation, red, is considered more natural and significant based on the coefficient of determination. Four, discussion. The method of averaging should consider that the values are observed data, not just numbers. This leads to errors and prevents proper conclusions. This study has proven that. In Figure 6, the red line shows the sine wave 2-term approximation, and the green line shows the Fourier 5-term approximation. The Fourier approximation feels unnatural, while the red line is natural. The coefficient of determination also shows that the sine wave approximation is significant. In Figure 3, a sixth-degree polynomial approximation is performed, but the sine wave approximation is more significant. 5. Conclusion. The sine wave approximation curve in Figure 6 indicates that a sustainable society can be realized. Six. References. Reference 1, Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism, Japan Meteorological Agency, Past Meteorological Data Search, Tokyo https://www.data.jma.go.jp/stats/etrn/index.php ? No = 44 block _ no = 47662 year = month = day = view =. Reference 2, Own work study on handling averages in three-dimensional graphs. Reference 3, Own work figures and averages. The end.